more chairs in here now, Karen? Is that the deal?
I was just wondering about that. There were chairs. Actually, that row is.
Pile of chairs back there. So maybe they got put out.
That row.
I think the road's there.
We're talking about the wedding.
Oh, boy.
Okay, we are live
I'm
streaming now.
standing here alone.
Okay. We are.
Good to go? Okay, so I will call to order this meeting of the Historic Preservation Committee. Monday, August 19th at 5:31, sorry. 5:30 on the computer, 5:31 on the clock. Karen, can we do a roll call, please?
Sure. Chair Jennifer Flores,
Present.
Liz Boisvert is not present. Rebecca Berry. Here. Ann DeBane. Here. Miranda Garrison, not present. Jeff Myers.
Here.
Okay, has everyone had the opportunity to read the minutes from the last meeting? Does anyone have any motions to make for changes, alterations? No? In that case, I can take a motion to approve the minutes as given. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Minutes passed. Okay, so this is regular meeting 3.1. Is that you, Fred? Or is that when I do this?
No, that was the minutes.
Oh, that was part of the minutes. Okay, so do we do the visitor and public comments on the things first, or would it?
Just if there were visitor public comments on something else other than the hearing.
Okay, so any of us with visitor or public comments on anything other than the hearing we're doing tonight? No? Okay.
Does this mean anything, all this noise out there?
I think it's a tree rubbing against the window.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like it, almost like a can. Yeah.
Yeah,
And staff reports? Nothing? Unfinished business?
That's too loud. Can you torque that down, Karen? Nothing.
Nothing? Okay, so we're on to new business then.
Did you turn that down, Karen?
I did, yeah.
Have you?
I don't know why it's, try it one more time.
How about that?
Don't
Don't point it at the speakers.
we can't hear you at all.
Yeah, but it's red now.
Hello, 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 hello.
Oh,
Hello. Okay. All right, so now we'll do the public hearing.
So then, so quasi judicial land use hearings for the City of Independence, call to order and procedure. I now open the public hearing on application for certificate of appropriateness, file number CA 2024-04. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with the Independence Development Code and State Law ORS 197.763. Specifically, the staff will first present the staff report and recommendation. The applicant will then have an opportunity to present the proposal and address any issues raised by the staff report and recommendation. For public testimony, I will first ask to hear from people who would like to speak in favor of the proposal. I will then ask to hear from people who have neutral comments or questions about the proposal, neither for nor against. Finally, those in opposition to the proposal will have an opportunity to present testimony. City staff may then present additional material and recommendations based on the public testimony. The applicant will be given the opportunity to have the last word. After each presentation, I will ask for questions from the commission. If you intend to present oral testimony, please fill out a request to speak form located at the city recorder's station. We are recording this hearing, so please also clearly state your name and city of residence when you are called to speak. This will help in preparing accurate written minutes of the hearing and also assist with mailing copies of the decision to all interested parties. If you have written testimony or other evidence to submit, please give it to staff so it can be entered into the record. Conflicts of interests, ex parte contacts, and biases. The commission is required to disclose any conflicts of interest and ex parte contacts that we have with the proposal or applicant. That is, whether we have any financial or other personal interest in the proposal and whether we have spoken with anybody about the proposal outside of this hearing. Also, commissioners may only participate if they can do so without undue bias either for or against the application. Do any commissioners wish to make any disclosures?
No.
Are there any challenges from the audience as to conflicts of interest, ex parte contacts, or bias related to any member of the commission?
No.
Okay. State law requires me to tell you a number of things at the beginning of the hearing. First, the applicable substantive criteria that apply to this application are contained in the written staff report and will be identified and discussed in the oral staff report. Second, your testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed toward these criteria or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or development code that you believe apply to this application. ORS 197.763, parenthesis 5, parenthesis B. Third, failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker or other people an opportunity to respond may preclude appeal of a decision on this application based on that issue. ORS 197.763, parenthesis 5, parenthesis C. Finally, to the applicant, failure to raise constitutional or other issues relating to proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the city to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in circuit court. ORS 197.796, parentheses 3, parentheses B, like boy. We will now hear the staff report.
Perfect. Hi there, everybody. Fred Evander, city planner here at the City of Independence. We are here to discuss the removal and essentially the alteration of a chimney on a historic single-family home at 115 South 6th Street. The home was built in 1910, and if it looks familiar to you, it's because the applicant was previously here for the removal of a tree. That tree had dropped a large limb on the chimney, and in the process, damaged the chimney. The applicant originally anticipated replacing the chimney, and as the contractors were at work on the chimney and started looking at the foundation, they realized that this foundation is not going to support this chimney. Jeff Kennedy, in the process of going out and looking at the site, said that chimney is too small for current standards. It would need to be seismic, to address seismic issues, it needs to be wider. And so based on that, the chimney would have to change anyways, and so the applicant has requested something much smaller. That would be sort of a shed roof addition out the north side of the house. It would be on the side of the house. The shed roof you can kind of see on page 9 of your packet. Scroll down just a little bit, you can see where the chimney was there. You can see that there's a hole on the second story right there that's covered up with plastic. And then you can see that there's also a hole in the bottom there, covered up with plywood. And what they're proposing is to scroll down just a little bit, Karen, is to replace all that siding flush, make it look like the siding has always been there, and then just do the little shed roof addition off the side of the house. I think I can't remember the exact dimension, it's something like 4 feet, right? It's something like just a little 4-foot shed roof addition off the side. The shed roof portion itself would be sided with similar siding as the rest of the house. The roof hole, scroll back up, Karen, if you would. You can see that the roof piece of plywood and then fascia board would be replaced. And there would also be likely a knee brace added. You can see the knee braces on the side of the house. A knee brace would also be added as well to support those features. It would essentially make it look like the roof was always like that. The shed roof addition would be relatively unobtrusive. One of the things that I recommend as a condition is that roof pitch of that match the roof pitch of the similar kickout a little further to the east. And you can see that if you scroll back up there, just real quick, Karen, I'm sorry. You can see that there's a little shed roof thing to the left of that picture right there. Match that roof pitch right there, not at the same height of course, but just make it look like they're kind of similar. I also have recommended a couple of other conditions. A building permit shall be required, and all woodwork, including the siding patches, the siding on the shed roof protection, the knee braces, the fascia board replacement shall match the historic wood detailing on the structure, just to tie it in. Other than that, this is a relatively, I would call it an innocuous change to the structure. If anybody has driven by this house, when you're going north on 6th, this will not be visible. That's the more prominent side of the house. 6 doesn't go through north, so only really the people that go north on 6 are going for local access up there. If you're walking by this house, like north, you're not gonna see it. There's also vegetation out in front of it. You can see the bush in that picture. So it's a relatively simple change. I would recommend approval of it with those 3 suggested conditions. Are there any questions?
So the brick part at the bottom, like, you can see in the drawing, but not in the photograph that we have here, the brick part will be all gone. So there will be no bricks left from the chimney?
There's no bricks for the chimney. Yeah, and that's supposed to be lap siding right there. When you, are you looking at the drawing or are you looking at page 9?
I'm looking at page 9, but at the drawing's on page 9. So I'm just trying to compare the two. I didn't know if when the chimney got taken out by the tree limb, if only the top part of the chimney was toppled and so the brick was still there, and then they were gonna shed roof over the brick.
No, so they're not.
It's gonna be a whole new,
It's a
it's
whole,
gonna look like whatever's right behind it.
Exactly.
It's a whole new build.
exactly, that's exactly right. And it was one of those things, like I said, they got down to the foundation and they were looking at like shoring it up, and they're like, this foundation is not big enough to support the weight of this.
Any other question?
Well, just for appearances, is there a reason why they didn't put a corbel to the left? So that it would match?
You're talking about on the roof line there, how there's 3 across on where is it?
3 on the right, but
There's-
only.
Right. So we did talk with Jeff Kennedy did talk with the contractor. Jeff was kind enough to go out there with me, and we definitely did discuss symmetry on the house.
Yeah, it drives me crazy.
Yes, and what Jeff suggested was tying back that fascia board all the way to that right knee brace. So essentially maintaining those 3 knee braces to have it be more symmetrical.
Right, okay, so you're gonna do the 3 instead of the
The
4.
4, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It always has had 3.
Was it?
It's always had 3, so where the third one at the peak, it was knocked out.
Yeah. And so, I mean, and I think that when this got drawn, the person was just essentially trying to take the weight of the new fascia board to that point that's where the the old fascia board exists, and we, Jeff encouraged him just to put a whole new board on to span the entire distance.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay, I can understand that.
So then,
So why are they changing the window?
They're not changing the window. The window is actually one of the distinctive features of the building. That was one of the notes that I made in the staff report. Not that the window, that they drew the window wrong on this drawing.
Okay.
And you can see that if you scroll down, Karen, you can just see that the shape of the window
Right.
is square there instead of rectangular up above. One of the distinctive features that it calls out in, the designation is, the windows are 1/1 double hung wood sash with decorative diamond patterns. And so that window itself has decorative diamond patterns. That was one of the reasons that I feel like this is especially appropriate, because if, as Jeff was talking about, the chimney needs to get wider, potentially you're then impacting that window.
So we're keeping this window,
Yeah.
the diamond,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I couldn't understand why we're taking out that chimney, why we'd have to take out that window, it didn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very, very nicely done, noting that detail.
good, okay. I'm done.
Okay, do we have the applicant here? Okay, so the applicant and others in favor may speak.
My name is Wendell Dick, D-I-C-K. I am the trustee of the home and the trust. And like I said, we're keeping the windows. The only thing that we're deleting is the chimney itself. To be honest with you, the chimney wasn't in good shape to begin with. And when that tree hit it, it collapsed it all the way down there. We weren't able to save it because we thought we could save it to begin with. They are matching the historical siding that's there. I mean, there's some other siding that's there before we even had the house, it's not being touched because it's already there. But everything else, the shed, everything will be historically matched the lap siding that's on the house. I think it will actually look better without the chimney there, to be honest, once it's all said and done. So that's the main thing. And I think there's 3 corbels or whatever you want to call them that come off the house, not the 4 that's on the drawing, it's not perfect. And that's it. Thank you.
Those opposed may speak. Okay. Are there any further questions from the commission? No. Okay, so if there are no objections, the hearing and record is closed. If there are any requests to hold the record open, you need to set the schedule, the minimum of 7 days each for additional evidence, responses to new evidence, and applicant's rebuttal. Deliberation and decision. Discussion by planning commission or historic preservation. Only direct questions or questions asked to the presiding officer are allowed after the hearing closes. The Historic Preservation Commission will determine whether to make a decision immediately or at a later date unless waived. Applicant has 7 days after the close of the record to provide final legal argument, ORS 197.763, parentheses 6, parentheses 3. If a decision is made immediately, move and second to adopt findings, the decision, and any conditions of approval. Okay, so it's closed and now,
So you folks can, make a motion to approve or, approve this application, or you can, if you feel it is necessary, hold it open for additional information, or however, or you can deny it. If you deny it, I would recommend findings for why you're denying it. Again, my recommendation was approval with 3 conditions. You can note that, on page 10, just what those 3 conditions were of your packet. Karen, do you happen to have a recommended motion?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know, am I allowed to make the motion?
I thought you did it in.
I did, well, then, I don't know. Do I entertain motions only or can I make them?
Go ahead and entertain a motion.
Okay, so I entertain the motion. Unless we have a question.
No, I move to approve.
So, do you move, read this part?
Yeah.
Write this, read where it says that.
Sounds
That's
great.
on page.
No, we don't have it.
It's on the
So you have it on the board or you have it?
Okay, I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application, file number CA 2024-04, adopting findings, conditions, and staff recommendations as provided in the staff report.
And do we have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Easy peasy.
Easier than the truth.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say that's a beautiful house, and I'm very envious of you having that. I've always admired it.
Thank you.
I had 2 trees to deal with, so I get it.
Yeah. That tree was actually pretty well diseased once we started cutting on it.
Ours were 2. We lost 2 big limbs in the neighborhood, what is now being built. The neighbor's garage and then the neighbor's truck got taken out, so. I understand tree issues.
Luckily the chimneys are that house with them on. Okay, so you have the changes, those go to me or to the contractor?
So what, you've submitted a building permit, right? Is that true?
Like the contractor has.
Okay, so if Jeff has a building permit, I'll just tell Jeff that he can process it. Yeah, and we appreciate your contractor being on here with us.
So I just need to tell the contractor to proceed with
With a permit, yep, and I'll look at it and I'll tell Jeff to watch out for these 3 conditions.
And does my contractor have those 3 conditions already?
I think so, I sent them to George, right? George, yeah, I sent them to George. Did you hear the story about me and George? Okay, so can I tell you guys a story real quick since we don't really have anything on the agenda?
Sure.
Kind of one of those crazy stories that happen sometimes. So I'm sitting out talking with George at his contractor at the house. And I said, well, you know, I'm gonna try and get this agenda done real quick. He says, oh, I won't be at the meeting, I'm going to Minnesota. I'm like, oh yeah, where are you going in Minnesota? He says, some city. Interesting. I'm going to Minnesota on Thursday. He says, oh yeah. He says, what airline are you taking? I said, Sun Country. He says, 6:30 flight. Yep. He says, we're gonna be on the same flight. And it actually happened. It was pretty funny. I saw him get on the plane, but I did not say hey to him until we had landed in Minneapolis. So, pretty amazing.
Thank you all for making this.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Yes.
Thanks, now we just have to get it done before the year's up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye,
Have a nice
thank
evening.
you.
Is there anything else?
Nothing else. So at one of the next meetings, I'll bring back some of that, just more learning about the district and everything that I was hoping to do a couple of months ago. So we'll plan on doing that, I'm hoping next month.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.